So there is one thing that always, has intrigued me is the way in which the brain works when it has to take a decision. There's been a lot of research that has been done, and books have been written by very knowledgeable folks like Daniel Kahneman, Richard Thaler, and all those guys have said that there are two parts of your brain, the logical brain and the illogical brain. What I found very interesting is that the logical brain has a clear understanding of the data. It assimilates all the data. It has a clear view of the data. So it's very data driven, factual driven, and so that's the logical brain takes the data. It knows what to do, academically clear in the mind as to what to do. But what's very interesting is the decisions are more often than not are taken by the not so rational brain, takes all the decision. So this is thinking fast and thinking slow, as what Daniel Kahneman has said, and slightly, I'm making it slight different between what was said in that book. I can give you some examples. Like for example, in an Indian situation, let's take an example like, when you are driving yourself, you are driving, you see an amber light in the traffic signal. You know what you should do, right? If I ask everybody else, do you know what you should do? Everybody knows, yeah, I know what I should do, which is I should stop. That's what we should do. Then I ask the question, what do you actually do? Now here is very interesting. I think, I want to really drive fast and get out of the signal very quickly. So this is what your actual brain does. So what happens here? Here your rational brain knows what to do, but it is your irrational brain which is what is acting. And that's the reality. I just gave you one example, and I can give you many examples like that. For example, but as when you stand for a lift, your rational brain knows that first the guys who are inside have to come out, and then only you should go in. That's what your rational brain knows. And what's your irrational brain does? As soon as the lift door is open, you want to enter. You don't worry about who is inside, right? So you can find several situations like this where innately the irrational brain which takes the decision, and such things happen in business as well. It's the most interesting thing. So the CFO has to remain absolutely steadfast. Let the business may end up taking decision using the irrational brain and stuff like this. The data part, the owner of the data part, it lies with the CFO, and CFO has to be the kind of a guy who is the umpire, or even sometimes you'll have to be the whistleblower. Not in that sense. Whistleblower means someone who blows the whistle to say that, look, listen to me, okay, careful, like the policeman who blows the whistle to say that, buddy, listen here, this is what the data says, this is how we should do the decision. So, if you're thinking fast and thinking slow, and there are two parts of the decision. So, purchase decisions are more often than not are governed by the irrational part of the brain. And they say that even the way the merchandise is kept in a supermarket is to ensure that it's your irrational brain which just buys things which you don't need. And so you will see yourself making irrational decisions many times, and when you come back and you see, oh God, I bought a lot of stuff that I actually don't need. And that's how the decision making is actually being induced by the external forces. So not only just as a CFO, also if you are a guy who is running a business, you must understand that it's very interesting thing that the logical side of the brain knows what to do, but unfortunately it is not the logical side of the brain which actually takes the decision. The decisions are invariably taken by the emotional side of the brain. And another example I can say that when everybody is sitting together and discussing a topic for cost cutting, you are all discussing topic for cost cutting, and then we have to now decide on what are the areas where we are going to focus on cost cutting. And then we say, no, look, this is one small area where we should not do any cost cutting. You just put one area as a holy area. This area will not suffer any cost cutting. We should focus only on the rest of the area. Then you will find that there are other 100 areas equally holy or probably more holier there. And finally, you will end up cost cutting only on the printing and stationery area. Or else in the bathroom will invariably end up as the candidate. You will say, let us relieve that and do cost cutting. big things will be going through this. So this is another thing called, visual blindness. And visual blindness happens because you are thinking with your irrational brain. And so one has to absolutely remain conscious of the fact on every decision making time. Hello, I got all the facts. Am I taking decision using my rational brain or irrational brain? And it becomes the incumbent responsibility of the CFO to be the whistleblower, to be the guy who raises the hand to say that, guys, it's time that we get back to the data. And this is a very interesting topic. And I'm sure as CFOs, you will find yourself many topics on which such things could happen. And if you have got some situations wherein you have seen the conflict between the irrational and rational brain, I would be more than happy if you can share that in the comment section of this posting. Thank you.